So today we have Vanessa and Wilson from Aiculus joining us for this interview. I just wanted to congratulate you guys first for getting the Australian Cybersecurity Scale-Up of the Year, if I'm not wrong, for 2021. So how are you guys feeling about that? How's that been?
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience overall, and it came as a surprise, but yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
What about yourself, Wilson? How do you feel about the?
Yeah, I think this recognition, and it shows that the commitment and the hard work and how innovative we are to produce solutions and help organizations to have a better security posture.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, really happy when I read about that for you guys. Yeah, it was such an amazing news. Yeah, and I wanted to ask more about Aiculus itself. So could you just share with us more about what you guys do and what Aiculus is all about? Anybody can go. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So actually, Aiculus, we were founded in year 2017, and today we are a scaling up company providing cybersecurity consultancy services and specializing in API security. And we operate across 2 geographical locations, so Australia and Singapore, where we actually raised seed funding. So at Aiculus, we are set on a journey of securing the new API economy. So if we look around us, the number of online transactions and services have increased exponentially. And over 80% of the internet traffic today is involved around API, which is application programming interface. And from an organizational perspective, digitization as well has been driving API adoption. So we are using API on a daily basis, but we hardly know how secure are these APIs because they are actually direct gateways to critical data. And if breached, organizations could lose, at the end of the day, money, which is involved up to close to 2 million that could be lost for an organization in case of a breach. So Aiculus sits at the confluence of cybersecurity, API management, and artificial intelligence. And we provide these services, by providing security, privacy, and visibility of operational APIs to prevent breaches, financial losses, reputational losses to businesses. So we see what we're doing important to organizations and relevant to the current technology ecosystem. And maybe Wilson can share a little bit more about the artificial intelligence aspect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, as Vanessa mentioned, so we are a cybersecurity company. We are using cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, in order to learn patterns of the API transactions or traffic or API calls of our customers. What we have found is that most of them, they don't know what is the baseline. They don't know how many API calls are being going in a particular day or an hour or a time frame. So we are helping them with like learning how the API ecosystem or infrastructure is being used. So we have a process when we engage with customers. So we first try to understand their infrastructure, what APIs are relevant. So we understand that in every network or customers network, they may have hundreds of APIs. So we are helping them to have an inventory, to have a visibility, as Vanessa mentioned. And also we target the priority or the relevant APIs, and we just do this intelligence work. And then the process will continue to perform some statistical analysis to see what are the normal patterns. And then we model this, we create some models that will allow us to determine anomalies when we plug the solution in their production environment. So that's actually the summary of our solution.
Oh, wow. That sounds exceptionally great. So you guys were mentioning how you use machine and deep learning techniques, right? So I was just wondering, how effective have these been with your clients over time? Have you guys been changing it up, or has this been just solutions that you used all these years from the past?
Well, it's efficient, of course, in terms of like detecting anomalies. As any machine learning algorithm or even a project, when we need to deploy from end-to-end a solution, so it has a percentage of error, right? So there will be some false positives there, but it's part of the nature of the technology. So we need to constantly retrain the models. So, for example, if we deploy a solution and the customer detect that there were certain false positives, so we use that information as a feedback to retrain the models, and then this cycle starts again. So this one will actually help us in the long term to have a solution that is optimal in terms of performance and accuracy.
Okay, that sounds great. And thank you so much for sharing about Aiculus itself. Now I would love to know more about your own personal background, your professional background. So if maybe Vanessa could kickstart that.
Oh, yeah. So I'm actually not from a typical STEM background, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematical background, but I come from a finance background. So I'm actually from Mauritius, and back home I've worked for 15 years within the banking industry with 8 years at middle management position. So I was very familiar with concepts around, governance, risk management, and compliance. And then I moved over to Australia to study Master of Cybersecurity and work within a university as an excellence ambassador. So overall, it's been an amazing journey, and there have been a lot of transferable skills that blend well with my current position. So at this stage within Aiculus, I'm responsible for cybersecurity, risk compliance, and I also look at the product engineering side within the business. So in a nutshell, what I do in my day-to-day activities is all about protecting Aiculus's people, the software system, the technology, our data, and our customers' data.
Oh, wow. That's so good. What about yourself, Wilson? What about your background?
Yeah, well, my background is IT, fully IT. So I did my bachelor in computer science. And after that, I did some work in several companies, technological companies, financial companies. I was working as a system administrator. And then I did my master's degree with specializations in security, information security, and databases. Then I did my PhD in cybersecurity. And now I'm joining Aiculus, and I'm working on the technology part of the product.
Okay, wow. I like that how you guys are just, harnessing on your skills. And Vanessa, you had mentioned something about, skills being transferable, and because you may have different backgrounds. I wanted to ask you guys, I've seen this in the blog, I think it was Wilson's one, with a 6-month journey. He had mentioned how skills are kind of like, I think, shared, kind of like there's a significant overlap, but everybody has like a personalization in their role. So how has that helped Aiculus? Because that's very unique. That, you guys are sharing your skills, but then you have your own personalization. So how has that helped with your productivity in Aiculus?
Yeah, I would answer that. So when it comes to to a startup, actually, I've seen it based on my experiences that the more skills that you bring to the table, the better it is for the organization to scale up. So in the sense that from my own personal experience, coming from a management and finance background, so within a startup, you need people not to be thinking about only from one perspective, but also to be knowledgeable in their areas, but as well as thinking from an overall business perspective. And in cybersecurity, this is what we're seeing today, that, the focus is not, when we talk about cybersecurity, it's not only about technology. It's also about people. It's also about culture. It's also about organizational process and procedures, which all blend together, help you create a robust, cybersecurity posture within your organization. So having people with multiple coming from different backgrounds and having had different experiences, professional experiences, definitely adds up and blends with what we're doing. And we've seen that, so even within Aiculus, I also kind of help within the operational side of the business. So you can see that skills that I've acquired over time being used elsewhere within our portfolios, which simply adds value to the organization at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for that. What about yourself, Wilson?
Yeah, I think by the nature of being in a startup or a small organization, so you need to combine different skills, right? You need to use those skills for the benefit of the company. Yeah. So being in Aiculus, so I don't have to use the skills that I have learned in my professional background, but also I have learned some management skills, as Vanessa just mentioned. Vanessa has a background in management, finance. So this combination of skills and also the communication, the relationship that we form within the team is valuable at the end of the day, because we can deliver a better solution for our customers.
Oh, wow. That is so nice. And it was really nice to read about that as well, because it kind of gives the confidence that you guys have a variety of skills, to deal with your clients. And it just gives that kind of, a boost for people who read. So thank you so much for that. And moving on, I would like to know more about, funding. How do you guys deal with funding? And yeah, with matters related to that. How has that been going?
Yeah, so actually we raised seed funding from a VC in Singapore last year. And in terms of revenue streams, we've got a few revenue streams in the sense that at this stage, we've been approached actually by global investors who are willing to invest capital to support our vision to create a robust API security within the Asia Pacific region. So overall, we use machine learning and artificial intelligence, which are, at this stage booming. And the cybersecurity industry itself is a $150 billion market. And as I mentioned earlier, that even API adoption is expected to grow exponentially following the pandemic as a reason. So from an investor perspective, if you look at those verticals in combination, it's a niche, and the ROI, the return on investment, seems very promising. So we are at this stage currently preparing for another round of funding in the next few months. And in terms of other revenue streams, so we also get revenue as a cybersecurity by providing cybersecurity consultancy services to small and medium businesses within Australia and Singapore to help them improve their cybersecurity posture. And last but not least, but we also generate revenue by selling our product to fintechs, regtechs, legal tech companies, and alike organizations dealing with sensitive operational APIs.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's great. That's great. I think I saw that in your blog as well. You guys have mentioned that. So yeah, great for you guys. Wilson, would you like to add on with that, or should we?
I think that's what's, Vanessa provided a fully answer in terms of the funding. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So great. Then maybe moving on, I would just love to, kind of, towards the end. So just kind of before we wrap up, I would love to ask, what challenges have you guys faced with Aiculus, and how did you guys manage to overcome it? There must have been many challenges you faced, while working in a firm, of course. Yeah. And so I would love to know more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's related to the previous questions when we were discussing about the transferable skills, right? Mm. So we need to, I believe that when, in my opinion, and in my area, I perhaps have three main areas of challenges. The first one is the customer relationship. The second one is the technology, and the third one is, we call it like R&D. In terms of customer relationship, so we have learned that it's like a dating experience, just to bring this one to be more simplistic. So when we start a conversation with a customer, so we need to gain their confidence, right? Because in the end, we are going to receive the data, we are going to manipulate the data, we are going to see what's happening in their environment. And so we need to gain that credibility. That's a challenge. How Aiculus is in tackling this challenge? We are getting some security certification. So it helps us to, so before introducing ourselves as a company, we can give a public credibility, so customer can gain more confidence in doing business with us. The second part is the technology. So as we know, technology is evolving permanently. So we need to cope with the new technologies, how we are going to engage those technologies within our product. If, for example, competitors are creating new solutions, so we need to like be creative, be innovative, and try to be in the market, right? And also providing value to our customers. And in terms of R&D, so again, so it's quite related to technology, but we need to be like engaged in what is happening with the research space. So we need to constantly read academic papers, attend academic conferences to understand what is the future technologies. And I believe these three main areas are the challenges in terms of my area.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Like you've mentioned, I think research is very essential, right? To keep innovating. That's what you're trying to touch up on. Yeah, that's great. Because I think that's a very great tip. And that's my last question as well for you guys. What is a great advice that you would give for, young entrepreneurs who are trying to start out? What is a big tip on advice that you both would give? Maybe starting with Vanessa.
A big tip of advice.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of linked to a little bit to what Wilson has shared, is that sometimes when we look at the ever-changing environment, there is so much uncertainty out there. So my advice would be to be spontaneous and seize opportunities that are lying out there. Sharing with you that even Aiculus, we started to really scale up during the phase of the pandemic. So even that didn't, stop our growth and our strategy about what we had planned. So situation would be out there, uncertainty would definitely be out there, challenges would be out there, but it's seize the smallest of opportunities that you can integrate and incorporate into your business, and then take from here and then scale.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think whoever watches will appreciate that so much. And yeah, Wilson, what about yourself?
Akil, I just want to clarify the question. So you are asking, so what are the recommendations or suggestions for like a young professionals who wants to
scale up
create
as well?
their...
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's whatever you just mentioned, but I was just asking for entrepreneurs, for younger or current ones, what advice would you give them to, keep progressing and being successful in whatever they do?
Yeah, well, I think there are, I believe, two main areas. The first one is the networking. I could see that in order to gain attention with the community, depending of which area this person is going to focus, nowadays any innovations, any initiative is related to technology, right? So I think being engaged with a community, learning which are the main actors, so it will help in the long term to have kind of coaching experience, right? And the second one is the technology and the research. Well, as I mentioned, any solution in any industry is now highly connected to technology. So it's highly recommended to have that background if you are not coming from a tech experience. Nowadays, there are plenty of courses, plenty of information public in the internet, and it's easy to enroll. Some of them are free, so I think that's my recommendation. Number one, networking, and the second one is just to cope with the concepts of technology and innovation.
Right.
And I would like to add something else to what Wilson has said, Akila. Actually, one of the things that has helped, so I'm talking from the perspective of Aiculus and the lessons learned. So if we think about Aiculus, so one of the things that has really helped us is also strategic partnerships with bigger organizations. Like we've partnered with organizations like Austrade, AWS, a company that everyone knows, and we partner with other technological companies across Australia and Singapore, Taiwan, and some parts of Africa, which has actually allowed us to transcend geography. So if you're asking for advice for any young entrepreneur, and if there is anything that they are foreseeing in that space, like a tech company or something like that, so strategic partnership is definitely something that that can be useful and helpful.
Oh, wow. Yes, that sounds really good. Thank you so much to the both of you for your valuable insights. It's been an honor talking to you guys. I feel like I learned so much already. So can't wait for everyone else to see this and take away, all the information that you've just said. But yes, thank you for being here with us today. And hope you guys, keep scaling up, keep innovating for Aiculus, and wish you guys all the best as well.
Thank you so much, Akila. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Akila.